Okay, hey everybody. I'm going to start this just a couple of minutes early so I can bumble around and do what I need to do. And with any luck at all, we can get this going without too many hitches. I promise you I'll get better at this as time passes. So just give me a chance here, okay? First of all, you will see there is a live chat that you can use to make comments. So I'm going to just type, hi everyone, in the live chat. And if someone's out there, and that's a message from Brett, thank you very much. So if someone's out there, then I would like for you guys to please type your name in as you enter the live stream so that I can tell that you are watching, if that's okay. There's no one watching yet, which is fine. I'm sure that we will gather more people as time goes on. Just noises all the time. Okay, who have we got? Hey, who's that? So this lecture is really going to be about finishing off what we started at the end of last semester, so publication planning and design, and we're going from page 304. So if you've got your book open using photographs, okay, let me just try and, if you've got your, okay, no wait, we don't want that. If you are out there and you are watching, you can comment in the chat box, so you can say hi if you really want to. In the meantime, we are going to go to the Ground Up website because this is a really good independent news site that gives you some awesome stories. They're mostly feature stories, so very much longer. Let's look at this one. There are quite a lot of really interesting and different articles on here. It's not your usual stuff, and as you can see, it's quite a lot more detailed. Okay. Okay, this is not a good example because it's only got one photo, and this photo here that they've used is from a mining, I imagine that this is a mining stock photo. Yeah, Dan Brown Flickr. So this is a mining stock photo, and it basically just connects the mining industry with the article. Okay, not the best idea, but I mean, not the best example. Let's take a look at the most popular 5 and see what we can find. So this is an image of King Goodwill Zwelithini, government, you see the photo credit here? The government ZA, okay? And here we've got good old King Goodwill Zwelithini in full regalia, okay, formal regalia. Court thwarts king's attempts to control land. That is the headline. And so, of course, which king are we talking about? We're talking about this king. There are many kings in South Africa. So what we need to do is choose a photo that accurately represents the king that we're talking about. So, especially when we're looking at corporate in-house publications and other kinds of publications, you need to choose a picture that links the article visually with the headline. So, I'm going to assume that you've done your reading on this, because you really need to do the reading for the chapter to finish it off. If you haven't, you can still participate in this live stream. Ask your questions if you want to, but know that you do have to do the reading, and you have to watch all of the videos and make sure that you understand the content. So basically what we're doing is going through examples of how to use images in publications. Oh, thank you. That's my husband with a cup of tea. Yeah, cheers. So let's see. Who have we got? Have we got anybody? Oh yes, we've got 7 people watching. Welcome, guys. This is really, really good to have all 7 of you here. I'm not quite sure how the stream health is going, so all of your feedback is very, very valuable. This is the first live stream that I'm doing, so please, if you feel like, I don't know, something is wrong, something isn't working for you, then please just make sure that you say something in the feedback, say something in the comments, and that'll make me very happy, because then I can try and improve it for next time. Next week we're going into brand journalism, so that is a whole new section, and it's going to be blended learning. So what I need you to do is make sure that you do all of the reading that's required. So this week you're going to need to do both the lesson plans, the old format from last semester. You're going to need to go through that to finish off our publication planning and design section. And then as well, you're going to need to go through the content for brand journalism. But remember that we're going to take 2 weeks to cover brand journalism. So don't panic too much if you can't get it all done. We're going to go through it slowly and carefully. So if you don't have time, or if you don't get it all done, don't beat yourself up. You can still participate in every live stream that we do, even if you haven't done the work. It will just make it a hell of a lot more logical if you have done the work already. So let's see. Have we got any live chats, live comments? Please will you go to the live chat. Okay, it's here somewhere, but you can also see it there in my streaming mission. Just go there and put your name in and tell me who you are and tell me that you're watching. You don't have to write anything else if you don't want to, but it will help to maybe keep a form of register. That would be great. And then also I get an idea of who's watching, and I can say hi. So just go in and put your name in there in the live chat. Otherwise, let's see. Let's go back to this. So when we look at type of pictures that you need, there are a whole bunch of different things to think about, different types of images that you can use. You can use point pictures, which are pictures that make points for the text. Okay. Let's see if we can find one of those. Okay, no, not that one. No, not that one. But yeah, establishing shots. Establishing shots are the one like this that we saw just now. King Goodwill. That is an establishing shot because it's establishing which king is attempting to control the land. Okay? Typical appearance or product shots. Those are, your burgers and, I don't know, dresses and product shots, typical appearance of something. So it'll give you an idea of what the thing looks like. if McDonald's had a scandal and News 24 was writing about it, they would probably use a stock shot of a Big Mac. Yeah, that's McDonald's. They would use it in establishing, a typical appearance shot or a product shot of a Big Mac for their article. Key personalities. So yes, again, this falls under that category, key personalities. This is the key personality within this article. If you guys are following me, I'm on page 307. So you can turn there and follow me. I'm almost at the bottom of the page. Again, people at work. This lockdown in pictures, day 115, angling. Okay, that's people at work. You know, they're not, you know, in a factory or whatever, but they are at work. Let's see, hundreds protest against farm murders. Okay, this would be an establishing shot. It would be an establishing shot because you've got all of these people here that are protesting against farm murders. And there you go, you've got the photo credit here. Ashraf Hendricks, hundreds of people, many on bikes, protested outside Parliament on Saturday morning against farm murders. So that helps to give you an idea of how many people were there. Let's see. We've also got, okay, sequences would be a number of, the one that you had, I think it might have been your F2. That would have been a sequence article, a sequence of pictures telling a story. Juxtaposition, I don't know if you guys remember that, a big one, and it won an award, an international photography award. I can't remember which one, but let me just see if I can find it. Image juxtaposing gated communities with townships. Let's try those words and see what we can find. But it was an aerial view. Helps if I juxtaposing. Helps if I spell it properly. Where is it? There was an aerial view of the difference between a gated community in Joburg, and like right next door was, oh well, these are no good. This is not what I'm talking about. Right next door was quite a large township. And you can just see the dividing line between the two. It was pretty hectic, and it sort of brought to light the very, very stark reality of the difference between people who live in suburban gated communities and townships. Here we go. This is pretty much it. If you take a look, let me see if I can find a big one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this is a beautiful juxtaposition image, and this is what was used in the article. You can see all of the Lani ones on the left-hand side with all of the swimming pools, and I suspect this was taken during the drought as well. So yeah, how many of you have swimming pools? We don't. And then on the other side we have people living literally in. This is an image that struck the world. This was a brilliant, very effective image, and it brings home the stark reality of the differences. So they used that article. I don't know which article it was, but really it doesn't matter because we're looking at images here. We're not looking at articles per se. And then you've got your point of view shots. You could say that this is also a point of view shot, okay? But you can also look at okay. This this is not a point of view shot. This, however, is an establishing shot and a product shot, because trikes and uniforms to reclaimers. Okay, so this guy here is reclaiming waste. I think it's an amazing idea, actually, personally, but that's just my comment on the whole thing. And then you've got words and numbers, and that'll be like a data shot. It'll be something that expresses graphs and stuff like that. Hold on a minute. Let's see if we can find a data shot, a words and numbers shot, as they say. News, South Africa. Let's see. Actually, Business Tech has got some pretty good articles like that. Let's just look through it and see if we can find it. Okay, this is a beautiful example of a people at work shot. You can see back on the bottom of page 307, people at work. Oh, I skipped unique images. Unique images, literally, they are unique images. They will look at something that is not, hold on, this will be a, maybe, let's hope, unique image. That is not a unique image. That is a stock shot. Disappointment shot. I can't believe it. So much potential for that. But I suppose, having done a little bit of ethics in first year, you will also know that portraying children eating wild plants to survive because they're starving to death is not ethical. I imagine that that's why they gave you a product shot instead. Anyway, I'll tell you if I can find a unique shot while we're randomly trudging through all of this. Anyway, people at work shot. This is a beautiful one. Words and numbers. Let's see if we can find one. Not really. Almost, but not quite. There is a beautiful image of words and numbers. Total banking sector assets. So, this is what we've got here. And of course, this is our caption, I think. Yeah. Total banking sector assets grew by 16.36% year on year to 6.6 trillion at the end of March 2020. So there it says March 2019, March 2020, and it gives you a comparison. Okay. Yeah. Now, let's see. What else? See if we can go back to Ground Up and find another article. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, so this is an article about women in Cato Crest who are unemployed, cannot feed their families, and what are they doing? They're buying a few chickens and they're getting eggs. They're making a business out of it. So there is your establishing point of view shot, because it's from the point of view of somebody who's standing in a shack in an informal settlement. There is the chicken, there are the eggs, and this is where they're kept. It also helps to establish the kind of conditions that people are living in and the kind of conditions that they're keeping their chickens in, which actually is not that bad. I mean, I've been on a number of farms and that's actually pretty good. Let's go back to news again. Let's see if we can find some other ones. Okay, there. Beautiful point of view shot. Marikana residents cry out for flood relief. Wow. So there you can see, I mean, that's a point of view shot. It gives you exactly what the whole article is about. People living in, I don't know, ankle deep water, knee deep water in some places, and no one's helping them. Okay. Who is, let's see, who's here? Oh, 18 people. This is exciting. Guys, this is really exciting. Has anybody found the live chat yet? Here is the live chat. Please will you say what your name is? Just put your name into the live chat. Like I said before, it would be great to just get an idea of who's watching. Maybe keep like a form of a register so that, you know, I know who's attending and who isn't. If you aren't, then I can get hold of you and go, hey, what's going on? Can you access this or not? And yeah, it'll definitely help. If you've got questions as well, please remember to put them in here. Let me just see. Yeah, live chat. Oh, yes, I can see you guys. Look at that. Brilliant. Okay, so we've got Nokolo, we've got Michelle, Antonia. This is amazing. Hi, Palesa. Oh, guys, that's brilliant. Okay, please can you move that white block? Yes, I will move the white block, Max. Oh, the wonders of the internet. Let's take that out. Cool? You happy with that? No, not yet. Let's just move that down there. Better. Better? Not better. Yes, I think that's good. So now, does anybody have any questions yet about photos? If you don't, that's cool. If you do, put them in the comments and I will answer them as you progress. I'll just check it every now and again and see what's going on. In the meantime, back to types of picture stories. So I'm on page 308 and I'm looking at types of picture stories, and then we'll go on from there to working with photographers. But yeah, we've got different types of picture stories. We've got place stories, periodic events, commodity stories, state-of-the-art updates, discovery, social group, nature, and biography. Now, let's see. Let's see if we can find one. Okay, so this, I imagine that this would probably be a state-of-the-art or commodity update. Okay, this is a banking article. South Africa's banking sector is dominated by 5 names who control almost 90% of all assets. Now, if you know anything about commodities and economics and stuff like that, then you'll know that this is almost a monopoly. Almost, not quite. But yeah, these images were created, okay, this is a stock photo. These are created specifically to illustrate what they're talking about in the text. And you don't have to understand what they're talking about in the text, but you do have to understand that these are unique images that are created specifically for this article. They cannot be transferred onto any other article that speaks about any other topic. So we've got this one. These are also called infographics, by the way. They're not just pictures, they're infographics. Another one here. So this is essentially a story in pictures. We've got 3 and then a header photo. And it breaks down what the story is about by giving you highlights. This one obviously gives you highlights. and a particular aspect of the story. Okay, the following policy interventions were applicable to banks were approved by the PRUCO during the stress period. Okay, so that is a particular part of the article that they're now breaking down and giving you in a visual format. Again, doing the same thing with another part of the article, SA Total Assets Market Share. So there we've got all of the banks, and 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the 4 big ones. Okay, and then there's Capitec, there's my bank. I shouldn't say that on the interwebs, eh? Anyway, Capitec is best. Anyway, then we've got, and that gives you one aspect, and then this obviously gives you another aspect, and this compares growth. Okay, so we've got the different types of images that are explaining the story. I'm not going to belabor this anymore, sorry guys. Let's see, what other story and pictures can we find? Or maybe we can find, there's so many people that have died recently. I mean, surely we can find a biographical article. Obviously we can't. Somewhere. Oh, here we go. Capturing from the Diaspora. South Africa-based Nigerian filmmaker Jeffrey Uzoma Fidelis tells his story, plus interview. Okay, so that pulse interview, sorry. So this is a biographical article. He talks about his work in South Africa, and obviously that involves his story, where he came from, and you can see that he was already left for South Africa in 2013. Establishing shot, your personality shot. This is what he looks like. I'm guessing this is now. Nigerian filmmaker in South Africa. The beginning. Please tell me that we've got images. Yes, we do. We have an Instagram image that isn't coming up. Yay. Let's see if we've got another one. And we've got another one. No, I can't find this. Well, that doesn't help at all. Let's go back. I don't want to belabor this too much, but let's just go through this and see if we can find examples. We've got place stories, okay? So I'm going to look for a really, really obvious one. Home learning, again. South African artisanal cheesery hopes virus will boost slow food. So, this guy has a cheesery. I don't know what it's called. Oh, Noah's Cheese. Wow. Talk about an end times article. So, this will give you an establishing shot of the personality that they're talking about, as well as the type of shot that shows a person at work. So, this guy here, Donnie Crowther and his wife Mariki only managed to produce small amounts of their signature smoked mozzarella and chili-infused string cheese during the virus lockdown. Smoked chili infused. That's amazing. I don't know why they don't have more of these pictures. This is the internet. We should have plenty of pictures. Gallery. Pictures. Now what? Oh, let it snow. There we go. Place stories. Look at the snow. You guys were freezing your asses off last weekend, right? Was it last weekend? I can't remember. It's all been cold for me. But yeah, that will come under place stories and maybe periodic events and nature. And if we can try and load this thing a little bit faster, that would be awesome. Let's see if I've got any comments in the meantime. Okay, the white block's gone, Bayo, unless it's still there. Hey, Jermaine. Okay, cool, it is gone. Awesome. For one picture to be different types, like for a picture to be both a point of view shot and a juxtaposition. Yes, it is, Palesa. We were looking at, gods, let's just go back, because really, we were looking at one of these. Oh, so this is a beautiful shot. This could be a point of view shot and a unique shot. The reason why is because it gives you a wide angle where there is a lot going on, but at the same time, the main attraction is that massive rainbow in the background. And then, of course, this is a unique shot because you can't just, take a stock shot of a rainbow at any time you want to. You can't set it up, So, yes. Then, at the end of the rainbow, that's lovely. There is Fat Man and Bambi. Beautiful. Okay, and here we've got a nature article. And take a look at this series of images. And they're all about a hippo that lives in this area. Can we hopefully load this one up nicely? Maybe? Okay. My internet connection right now is really actually. No, I don't need that. For all of you who hate adverts, just a side little note. This here is Brave. Just ignore my desktop. This here is Brave, and this is the browser that I use. Brave is amazing. It blocks all of these ads, and if I go to a new tab, it'll show me, since I've installed it, it's blocked trackers and ads, 93,341 trackers and ads. It saved me 689.4 megs of bandwidth and 1.3 hours. So if you want a browser that works, that blocks a lot of ads, use Brave. That's it. Sorry, just got sidetracked. Hey, Kenneth. Kenneth has just come in for lunch, so if you hear some background noises, then please excuse it. But he does need to kind of make himself some lunch, so this is also my home, and things also go on here. The dogs bark. The child might come in just now, so yeah, looking into my life, which is really weird. Let's move on. Tips on working with photographers. Let me see if we've got any more. Cool. Tips on working with photographers. I'm going to, first of all, just gloss over this, because in these days, you don't just automatically get assigned a photographer. If you work with a big news agency, then yes, you do get assigned a photographer. But for the most part, and I'm looking at tailoring this course towards freelancing and being able to produce everything yourself as an independent freelance journalist. If you have to work with a photographer, first of all, don't treat them like the hired help. Photographers are also professional people. They don't appreciate being told what to do and being told their job. If you have suggestions, then suggest. Don't tell. treat the photographer with respect, and the photographer will treat you with respect and won't take crappy photos. Photographers are amazing people because they can see what we can't through a tiny lens, which is what makes them professionals. Not everybody can do the job really well. So if you get a good photographer, then ask, what do you think of this shot? What do you think of that shot? Should we put this here? And then you'll get feedback from your photographer. But ordering them around like Queen Mac on toast is not going to work for either of you in the long run. And you have to remember that as a journalist, you need to be professional, act professionally, and treat everybody with respect. It's a very, very big thing. So yeah, when you're working, oh yes, it's important to brief your photographer. That doesn't mean telling them what to do. It tells your photographer, we're out here to do a story on the macadamia nut season. How do they harvest? We're interested in telling a story and pictures on the whole process. How do they harvest? When do they become ripe? What do they look like when they're ripe? What do they look like when they've been shelled? What do the orchards look like in the trees, and what kind of machinery do they use? That's the kind of story that we want to tell. So if you can get that, that would be great. That's the kind of briefing that you need for your photographer, because he might have something really arty in mind, and then you might have something that's a lot more sort of very straightforward, and then you can get your wires crossed. So a briefing is important, but remember to distinguish between briefing your photographer and ordering them around and trying to do their job for them. Hold on a minute. I just need a little bit more tea. Yo, my throat is getting rather dry. I haven't spoken for this long in ages. And relight the cigarette. Okay, good to go again. When you are the photographer, you have to remember that first of all, you need to get pictures that are going to serve a function. And depending on the type of story you're trying to tell, you have to choose the focus and the position of your image based on what kind of story you are trying to tell. So let's go back to this one, for example. Tanya Broughton is one of our very, very well-respected journalists in South Africa. The government website, but she chose this one for a specific purpose. She didn't randomly go onto the government website and randomly pick an image of King Goodwill's Wellatini. That's not the way that it works. Sometimes you have to show somebody in a certain light. Remember, this one. God, spell it right. I'm sure that you guys will remember this one from the news many years ago. Which one was it? It made him look absolutely terrible. And he was giving a speech which was mistranslated. I think it was this one. Yeah. Okay. So now compare this image here and take a look at how closely it's cropped. Because that's another thing. You can take an image, you can take a photo of a whole bunch of people, and you can see there that he is actually surrounded by a whole bunch of people in traditional dress. But if you take a look at how it's been cropped, it's not really a very flattering portrait of him. Done. It's a very flattering portrait. It's regal, it's dignified, it's official. Okay? So that one, he kind of looks like he's, although his dress is dignified and regal as well, but they've captured his facial expression at a certain point where it's not exactly dignified or regal. So, comparison. Can you see the difference between choice of shot? And that serves to illustrate or give the audience an idea of what they should be thinking about, how they should be feeling. You cannot tell people what to think, and you can't tell people how to think about certain things, but sometimes the images that you use can affect the way that people think about things. So you have to consider that when you are the photographer. So let's go back. And this leads us on to photo editing as well. If you take a look at, firstly, you need to have decent quality photos. You cannot take photos with a tiny little, I don't know, a little phone and expect it to be this kind of quality. This is good quality. So you take your images on the highest quality possible, and if you've got a digital camera, then you take them in RAW. And I'm not a photographer, so I'm not quite sure exactly what that means, but it's massive size, lots and lots and lots of tiny pixels in that one photo. That's basically what it means. And from there you can edit it down, you can compress it, but you can never make something bigger, because then it'll look like the whole thing was made out of cornflakes. So you need to make sure that you take pictures on the best quality that you can. And then when you are cropping and sizing images, you need to, like, say for example this one may have been a landscape with like 20 other people in the background here and a couple of cars pulling in, but it's been cropped just to feature your focal point, this person here. Okay, and remember, if you want to include aspects of the image that sort of highlight the dignity or the regal aspect of a person's character, then you need to look at your photo composition. Do you see how he is walking on the red carpet with the skins? This is a very, very important part of the photo. Even though it's not a focal point, it's also part of the composition that highlights who he is and the respect that he's due. And don't cut their heads off, guys. Don't crop the photo down so that it's like there and he looks like he's wearing a pea cap, because it's shoddy work, but it's also disrespectful to the person that you are capturing. Okay, let's see. Mayo, Chris, to be a journalist, you need to be a photographer as well, or does it depend? Okay, if you want to be a freelance journalist, you can work with a freelance photographer. If you're not really confident or you don't have the right tech, if you're just running around with a cell phone, then you can pair up with a freelance photographer. And I know a couple of people who do that. They write for these local community newspapers like the Christa and stuff like that. And they're two chicks. The one is a journalist and the other one is a photographer, and they work together on some projects and they produce some really, really good pictures. And the story that goes with it, obviously, they'll then submit it together as a working pair, as two freelancers, as one project. But if you want to keep it sort of to yourself, not necessarily because you want all the credit, but maybe because it's more, convenient, you can move easier, you don't have to work to somebody else's schedule. All of those things come into play when you're a freelancer. So, if you can afford a decent digital camera, I think it's called a DSLR, digital single lens reflex. Yeah, that's right. So it's a digital camera, but it's a really, really good one. And if you can afford one of those, even some of the older second-hand ones still take really, really good photos. And if you can learn how to use it, then it's better to be a photographer, well, to learn how to take good photos as well. Again, it's a lot of multi-skilling. So to be a good freelance photographer, yes, you can do that. It just means learning more and investing more time in developing those skills. So it's also a trade-off. Do you want to try that more at the expense of your writing skills, at the expense of maybe doing more articles? Or is it more convenient for you to learn those things so that you can operate on your own time and in your own personal capacity? You know, it's really up to you. But if you work for a big news agency, then yeah, you'll probably get a photographer assigned to you, and then you'll travel with them. So yeah, nothing really anymore is only one way. Everything nowadays is mutable. It can be changed. It can be adapted. So yeah, don't get too hung up on that. But it is a good skill to have, you know. Let's see. You guys are going to have to go through this because, again, I'm not going to do story time with you guys. You are expected to read all of the content, and I do need for you all to make sure that you have covered the content for next week, at least half of it, or at least some of it, before we have our next live stream, so that you know more about what I'm talking about. How are we doing for time? Okay, cool. So, okay, creating the final layout, sending photographs to the printer, creating the final layout, putting it all together, and the production process in general, all the way through to the end of this section. Look, this has changed and it is mutable. It's not set. So what I've done is I've set you, hold on a minute. Okay, you can see this. Let me try and drag it over. This is what I've given you guys. These videos here are really, really useful. Please watch them. They are good at giving you an idea of how a magazine is made, how a publication is made, and all of the things that go into it. And then in the last lecture for this session, before we move over to the proper blended learning mode, you can see here I've given you this. First of all, there's a video on creating an interactive e-magazine, and there's also a video on FlipSnack. FlipSnack is well, let's just go there quickly and I'll show you. Gods, this is amazing. I can't believe I've been talking for like an hour. So I'm not going to play the video for you because the video is on the thing. So, but what I will do is show you the features. It has a design studio. You can set the privacy. You can share. It gives you stats. It gives you branding options. It gives you interactivity and collaboration. So many of you can work on the same magazine, and you can print them. So this is FlipSnack. It is an online platform for creating a magazine. Okay. And by the way, this is going to be your F3. But I'll brief you on that next week, don't worry. So, there's that. Now, let's see. Have we got any other questions? No? Okay. So, does anybody have any other questions when it comes to using images? Because that was really the one thing that I wanted to focus on. I'm not really too concerned. I mean, it gives you a publication on page 318 of your textbook. It gives you a publication project planning guide. It gives you a whole checklist on what to look at, and what to think about, what decisions need to be made. And a lot of it now is literally just logistics, but we've gone through other stuff like copywriting, production schedule, illustrations and photography, design, creating a mock-up or a dummy. So we've done all of those things, and we did them last semester, towards the end of the semester. There is an interesting case study here on page 324 that you can look through. But otherwise, just read through it. It's not awfully intimidating. And with the software that we've got these days, there is a lot that you can do. And my Durban journalism team is actually putting together a magazine I think they're using Flipsnack, but they're putting together a lockdown edition of Red Borders, which is our Durban student magazine. And, they're not production managers or anything like that. They're students just like you guys, and they're doing it. They've done it, they've made it, they're doing a second edition. So don't get too intimidated by everything that's in the textbook. Just try and understand it as much as you can. Then go and try and use Flipsnack. Okay. Try and get to grips with the actual practical skills of putting together, designing, and planning a publication. And see how you go. Because the only way that you can learn really to do something is to try and do it. And then fail, see where you went wrong, and fix it and do it again and do it better. Can you please send the pages or the content we need to read on the chat group? Okay, so can you guys go to Cole Campus, because it's on Cole Campus. Everything that we are going to be doing, the content, okay, first of all, the content that you need to read, I wonder if I can send it on the chat group. I don't think so. I can, however, okay, hold on. I can put it on the, oh, you're talking about the WhatsApp chat group. Yes, I can put it on there. No problem at all. Those notes, Max, which ones are you talking about? Are you talking about the ones that, the Word documents that I was just showing you guys? I'll put those on the groups when I'm finished this lecture. They are also, everything will be available on Cole Campus. And this lecture will be recorded, and once it's recorded, it will be available for you to go back as well. I don't know if you want to hear my voice droning on and on again, like twice, unless you absolutely have to. But yeah, it will be available. So you can go back and try. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is working? Is this like a viable option? I don't know. Is it working for you guys? I'm not sure, because I've had a couple of questions, but is everyone keeping up? Are you learning from this, or I don't know, feedback would be great, especially if you can, I don't know, describe any ways that things could be better. I'm not putting a photo of myself on the internet in a live stream, because really I couldn't bear to look at my own face doing the things that my face does. So sorry about that, guys. I can put an inset with a photo, but it doesn't really matter that much, because I think as long as you can see the content, then yeah, it should be fine. Let's round off by just taking a look, because you know how I love to do this. I used to do it with my JRN2 students all the time, every day, in fact, that we had a lecture. Let's look at all of these top headlines for the day. So we've got from all Africa, South Africa, 2 years after landmark silicosis settlement, no one has been paid. Tut, tut. And this is important. You guys have to realize that this is the kind of thing that was big a couple of years ago, and then no one said anything about it. So this journalist is actually fulfilling the watchdog, the watchdog function in society, notifying society that this kind of thing is happening. Because no one else would have known. No one would have said anything. And the government certainly, or, you know, no one's going to go out and go, oh yeah, by the way, we haven't paid the miners, you know. So, yeah, this is important. Police brutality in South Africa and the USA, a rift in remedies, representation, and responsibility. Okay, and that's the Daily Maverick on MSN, because MSN has obviously bought that article from the Daily Maverick, which is great. You know, again, we need to look at these kinds of things, and journalists have a responsibility to analyze things and bring them into the light and show people what's going on. That's the whole point. Okay, South Africa's gold stocks soar as bullion closes in on record. It has absolutely no importance to me whatsoever because I don't have any gold at all. But for some people, that is really, really important, you know, especially people with like stock portfolios and stuff. That's a big thing. How South Africa's curfew has changed online and food delivery. A lot of the articles that I'm seeing these days are actually focusing not so much on COVID stats as they are on how the lockdown has changed people, has changed society. There's so much meat in that. And journalists that are writing about it are taking it a bite at a time because you can't write on all of it at once. It's too big. But this is one aspect that this journalist has chosen to write about. And this is a really good example of story generation. Thinking about different ways that the curfew, the lockdown regulations, government's response, government's, I don't know, the way government is benefiting, the way that people aren't, you know, these kinds of things have been written about, but you can't just include it in a broad category. So when we look at story generation, you can go, okay, how is COVID lockdown affecting South Africa? That's too big to write about. You have to pick one little aspect and then focus on it and write it well. Like this, how South Africa's curfew has changed online and food delivery. It's one little thing, but you know, it's one thing that people can focus on and think about. Okay, Daily Dispatch. South Africa needs to produce more to arrest the downward spiral into debt of past decade. Yes, we do need to produce more. We need to stop relying on China for everything. My opinion. It's time to change. South Africa's Kolisi on Black Lives Matter. Okay, so this is George Herald. I'm guessing that's from, well, okay. Let's look at it. This is interesting. Okay, George Herald, local newspaper in George, imagine that. And you take a look at this image. Again, this is an amazing image of this man. He looks successful, he looks strong. You can see his tattoo, you can see, you know, the look on his face, it's positive. He's not stressed or angry or, I don't know, he doesn't have a weird expression on his face. He's smiling, but he's looking strong, you know, and that gives you already an establishing emotion with which you can then read the article. So he says it's time to change on Black Lives Matter. Okay. Time to be scared and to be silent is over in South Africa. Okay, so he's speaking up now, which is very important. And because this shot shows a successful, strong, positive image of him, not an aggressive one, but a positive one. He's smiling, he's looking forward. He's meeting things, and you can see that in the image. He's meeting the future with enthusiasm and bravery. And that image there tells you everything that you need to feel about what he is saying in the article. So you can see there, this is a really, really good example of how to use an image to create a response. Let's see if we've got any comments. Okay, cool, excellent. Okay, on a serious... Okay, hold on, let me just read these quickly. Okay, well, please forward the notes you just went through. Okay, I will, don't worry, Max. On a serious note, Call Campus is confusing, especially journalism. I will try very hard to fix that. I'm not quite sure what's on there now. I know that there is a lot of overlap. So, yeah, that is confusing, especially for me, because I'm not used to all of this stuff. I'm just a lecturer, and I'm used to seeing students behind desks. So it's been a change, but yeah. Remo Filwe. 100% better than Call Campus. Okay, cool, yeah. That's great. Well, I'm glad. That makes me happy. Not everything is available on Call Campus. On my side, trying to sort it out with management. Okay, cool. Whatever documents are forthcoming for the week. Cool. Whatever documents are forthcoming for the week, I will put up on the WhatsApp group, because we've still got our WhatsApp groups. I'm not going to shut them down. And I'll use that to augment Call Campus. So if you want to just go to the WhatsApp group and get the documents instead of having to wade through Call Campus, that's fine as well. But if you want the videos, you're going to have to come here, because I'm not going to put the videos on WhatsApp. That makes no sense at all. So yeah, what is the time now? We've literally been going for like an hour now, and I'm not going to take up this whole time. I know that you guys all have data issues, so I'm going to break up the next few modules, because from now until the end of the semester we've got I think 3 or 4 modules that we will be studying, themes should I say, and the first theme will be brand journalism. That'll take 2 weeks, and then we'll look at, I think it's ethics in journalism. That'll take another 2 weeks, and then we've got media theory. That'll take 4 weeks, and then we will have a whole 5 weeks of covering different types of news. So that makes me very excited, because there are different types of news, and see how it's covered. We've got home, we've got news, we've got sport, we've got entertainment, we've got travel. All of these things we're going to learn how to write on. But that is only in the last 5 weeks. Until then, we have to wade through the swamps of sadness that is media theory and ethics and all of that. But it's very important. So please come to the lectures, or go